The African Union has become a new permanent member of the group of 20 countries. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi made the announcement on Saturday in an opening address at this year's G20 summit in New Delhi. Members of the G20 are gathering in India over the weekend. Other issues being discussed at the summit include increasing loans to developing nations by multilateral institutions and the reform of international debt architecture. Zhou Jiashin has more from New Delhi. Well, we apologize for that. Let's delve deeper and closer. We have Dr. Sizo Nkala, a political analyst and postdoctoral research fellow at the Center for Africa-China Studies, University of Johannesburg, joining us via Zoom from Johannesburg. Thank you and welcome to the program. The African Union has been admitted to the G20. What does this mean for the AU on the one hand, and of course the G20 itself?
Hi, good afternoon. Can you please repeat your question?
Well, we're talking about the AU, the AU being admitted to the G20. What are the benefits, of course, for Africa, and compare that to the benefits to the G20 itself?
Well, I think the inclusion of Africa, in one of the world's most important global policy-making forums is quite a big deal. So it means it's a recognition of the importance of Africa in terms of shaping the future of the global order. The importance of Africa in important global strategic global issues such as climate change, immigration, and peace and security. So it's quite a big deal for Africa because for a long time Africa has been marginalized in these policy-making forums whose decisions have an impact on the lives of people in Africa. So having an African voice and African representation there is important. For the G20, I think it's for a long time it's been seen as an exclusive club, a small group of nations that take decisions that impact on other countries. So adding 1.3 billion people on its table, I think it boosts it improves its legitimacy and credibility as a global leader.
All right, Doctor, you say it's a big deal for Africa. So my question to you is, how can the African continent take advantage of this, and in what particular sectors can it take advantage of this?
Well, I think there are many opportunities for Africa to take advantage of this membership to the benefit of its people. Firstly, I think the G20 is a large group with significant economic influence in the world. It's a group that controls, I think, 85% of the world's GDP and 75% of its trade. So whatever it decides, it certainly has a global impact. So Africa has an opportunity now to advance its own interests, which may include maybe climate change, especially climate change finance. It also includes the reform of the international system, especially that of the UN Security Council and the international financial system as well. It also includes maybe immigration issues. Of course, Africa is at the center of global immigration issues, with most of its immigrants falling victim to dangers along the immigration journey. So these are issues that Africa can now bring to the fore at the G20.
All right, finally, Doctor, before we let you go, one final question. The G20 membership also comes with responsibilities. How will the AU play its part, given its structure and the nature of its own operations? How do you see it, Doctor?
Well, I think that's the main issue with the African membership of the G20, because Africa is an intergovernmental organization. It's not a supranational organization like maybe the European Union. It depends on the consensus of its member states. So it's an organization that cannot really take independent decisions without the consent of every member state. So decision making and positioning on issues being discussed at the G20 would be very problematic because African member states are diverse member states with diverse interests. You have giants like Nigeria, Ethiopia, or South Africa, and small countries like Swaziland or Lesotho. They have different interests. For them to adopt a common position is a challenge. We've seen this in various global issues like the Russia-Ukraine war, or even the climate change issue, or the Israel-Palestine conflict, or even the military coups that are happening currently in Africa. These countries rarely agree on these issues. So it will be interesting to see how they work out their G20 membership and agree or arrive at a common position in terms of issues discussed at the G20. So I think what will have to happen is they will have to devise a mechanism through which maybe the African Union can consult the member states, agree on issues before they go to the G20 summits. Maybe in that way, the AU can be effective.